C is example for low-level language and it's mainly used to design and develop system software. In this documentation section, I am going to write the name of the program. At the same time, I am going to write the name of the author and date. Operators are nothing but the symbols, and operators are classified into two types, binary and unary. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my short question. In this session, I am going to deal with most expected and most frequently appearing question. I am your Revati ma'am, faculty from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, first grade college, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So dear student, in my today's session, I am going to explain most important questions. Before going to start my today's session, let me to discuss the weightage of this subject. So dear student, if I consider C programming, we have theory as well as practicals, and we are going to write the theory exam only for 60 marks. And we have practicals, and the weightage of practical is only 25 marks. Now, if I consider 60 marks, how this 60 marks are divided? If I consider C program, we have 3 different units. For example, consider unit 1, unit 2, and unit 3. Okay, fine. If I consider unit 1, this includes 4 chapters. Okay, one is introduction about C program. Second chapter is all about basic concepts of C program, and third chapter is input and output statement, and the last one is operators. So how many chapters under unit 1? That is 4 chapters. And if I consider unit 2, we have 3 chapters. One is control statement. First chapter is control statement, then string, and the third chapter here is array. Okay, fine. And if I consider unit 3, this unit 3 also includes 3 chapters. One is pointer, second one is user defined function, and third one is user defined data types. And if I consider all 3 units, each unit carries 20 marks. So each unit is going to have same weightage. And dear student, if you want to clear C program, then study any 2 units properly, because see here, it is 20 marks and it is 20 marks. So total it is 40. Okay. Now, out of 40, you have to score only 21 marks to clear this subject. And if you study any 2 units properly, then you can able to clear the subject very easily. And there are few members, they just want to clear this paper by studying only important topic. For those students, you study this much question, that is enough to clear C program. So dear student, there are few members, they want to clear the subject and they don't want to study all the 3 units, and they want to study only important topic. For those students, please study these much questions, then you can able to clear C program. And to clear C program, you just require 21 marks. And there are few students, they want to score good marks. For those students, study all 3 units. Study all 3 units. Along with that, you focus these questions. So, those students, what they have to do? They have to study all the 3 units. Along with that, they have to focus these important questions. Now, if I consider unit 1, see here, the first very expected question here is write the features of C program. You can expect this question for 7 or 8, even for 5 marks. Why it is 5 marks? So, dear student, if I consider question paper pattern, I have part A and I have part B. Over. Now, see here, in part A, I have 45 marks and in my part B, I have only 15 marks. Now, if I consider part A, from each chapter, I am going to get 2 main questions. So, first one and second one, okay, this is further divided into A, B or A, B. So, from each unit, I am going to get 2 main questions. And I want to answer either first main question or second main question completely. And each main question carries 15 marks. And from each unit, I want to answer one main question. So, 15 into 3, it is 45. And if I consider part B, I have 5 questions. Out of 5, I have to answer only 3 questions and each question carries 5 marks. 3 into 5, it is 15. So, 45 plus 15, it is 60. Now, if I consider first question from unit 1, okay, I can able to expect this question for 7 marks, 8 marks or 5 marks. So, what's the question? Write the features of C program. So, what are the features I can have here? It is simple. To study C program, I does not require any basic prerequisites. So, it is very easy to study and it is very simple. And it's like a English language. Okay. And it is structured. So, what is structured? See here, dear student, the large and complex programs are divided into smaller groups and find the solution for smaller groups or smaller module and combine the module at the end. For that reason, it is called structured or module. It is called structured or module. Now, it is middle-level programming language. Actually, C is example for low-level language and it is mainly used to design and develop system software. Okay, now by using this one, this C programming, I can able to develop high-level programs. For that reason, it is called middle level. And it is recursive. So, what is recursion? Calling the same set of codes again and again, okay, until the condition is false. So, it supports recursion. It's portable. So, what is portable? If I write C program for one operating system and if I copy that program and if I run that program in some other operating system, without any modification, I can able to run that program. Okay, for that reason, it is called portable. So, these are the some of the features of C program and study the features. You can able to score very easily 7 or 8 mark or 5 marks. So I can expect this question under part A or under part B. Now, the second question under unit 2 here is write the structure of C program with example. Suppose if I want to write any C program, I want to follow the structure of the C program. So I cannot able to write the program according to my wish. So I want to follow the rule. So here first I want to write the comment. So this is known as documentation section. In this documentation section, I am going to write the name of the program. At the same time, I am going to write the name of the author and date. After that, I am going to have the header files. So this header file is known as link section. So if I write stdio.h, so this is known as link section. After that, I can have directives. Okay, hash define. So after this, I can have the preprocessor directive and I can have the hash define. After that, I'm going to have the global variable declaration. So what is global variable declaration? The variable which can be accessed throughout the program that must be defined above the main function. Even I can able to write the function prototype. Okay, after that I'm going to have the main program. Inside the main program, I can have the local variable. So what is local variable? The variable that is applicable only for that block. The scope of the variable is within that block. That is called local variable. Along with that, I can have this statement. So dear student, according to this question, you have to write the example. So I'll start with the hash include stdio.h. So what is this? It is my link section. So I'm going to write all the header files in my link section. Then, okay, I'll start with the main program. So void main. So what is the meaning here? This main program does not return any value. So it is void. Then start with the flower bracket. So I'll write printf first C program. First C program. Then close. Okay, fine. What are the structure of C program? First one, documentation, link, definition, global variables, then subroutine declaration, that's nothing but the function prototype, then main program. Inside this, I'm going to have the local variable and I'm going to have set of statement. Now, the third question here is, what is an operator? Explain with example. So what is an operators? Operators are nothing but the symbols. For example, if I have plus, it's an operator. If I have divide, so it's also operator. So what it is? It's a symbol. Operators are nothing but the symbols, and operators are classified into two types, binary and unary. So binary in the sense what? Only two value. Okay, so binary A plus B. Then unary A plus plus. So I have only one operand. If I consider binary, I have two operand. So these are the binary and unary operators. And if I consider operators, operators are classified into arithmetic operators, relational operators, then logical operators, bitwise operators, and so on. Even I can have the conditional operators. So dear students, see the question and based on the question, answer the question. So if I consider arithmetic operators, I have plus, minus, then star, modulus. These are the example for arithmetic operators, and it's mainly used to perform arithmetic operation. Then relation. What is relational operators? It's mainly used to represent the relationship between two operand. For example, A greater than B, or A greater than or equal to B, A less than B, A less than or equal to B, A not equal to B, A equal to B. And if I consider logical operators and or not. Bitwise operator, shift right, shift left. Okay. Along with that, if I consider conditional operators, the ternary operators are example for conditional operator. If I write A greater than B, so see here I am having the condition. If it is true, print A. If it is false, print B. So this is the example for your conditional operator. So the another very important question from this unit is, what is data type? Explain it with example. So what is data type? Think that I have different types of value. For example, I have 10, I have 10.25, I have grade, A grade. In some time it is A plus. See here, it is whole number. Okay, it is fraction, single character, multiple character. So what is data type? Data types are nothing but the type of value I'm going to use in my program. And data types are classified into how many types? It is 4 types. Which are the 4 types? Primary, then secondary, then enumeration, and the last one is void. Okay, fine. So what is primary? All the built-in data types are called primary. So this primary includes integer for whole number, floating point for fraction, okay, character to store single character, and string to store group of character. Okay, fine. If I consider secondary data types, the secondary data types are called derived data type. Why it is called derived data types? Because I am going to create my own data type by using primary data type. Example, union, structure, etc. And enumeration. So I am going to create enumerated data type by using enum. The last one is void data type. So what is the meaning of void? It does not return any value. So these are the 4 different data types comes under C program. The another very important question from unit 1 is, what is token? Explain in detail. So dear student, please study this question properly. If you study this question properly, then you can able to answer the questions like data types, variables, identifiers, and constants. Okay, so study this question properly. Either you can get what is an identifier, write the rule to define the identifier, or what is variable, write the rule to define the variable. So, dear student, study this question properly. Now, what is token? Think that I want to construct a house. To construct house, what I required? I required site. Okay, fine. After that, I must have the capital. Okay. After that, I must have the manpower. Then I must have the materials. So, to construct my own house, I require this small unit. Similarly, if I want to write C program, I want to have small unit. By combining all those small unit, I can able to write the C program. So, what is token here? Tokens are nothing but the smallest individual elements of program. And example or some of the tokens are, first one, keyword. So, keywords are nothing but the reserved word. Example, if, for, do, case, switch, int. So, these are the keywords. Now, variable. So, as the name itself indicates that the values are vary. In the sense what? I can able to store different values. Or it's nothing but the name given to the memory location. Along with that, please study how to define the variable with example. Okay, fine. Along with that, identifier. So, what is identifier? If I consider program, I have variables, I have function names. Okay, so how I'm going to identify? Based on the function name, based on the variable. For example, if I ask you how you are going to identify me. So, based on my subject. Okay, which subject I'm going to teach. Okay, based on that, you're going to identify me. Or based on my name. Here also, if I consider program, okay, based on variable name, or based on array name, or based on structure name, okay, based on union name, or based on function name, okay, I'm going to identify. Along with this, I can have data type. Anyway, dear student, I have explained what is data type with the different type of data types. And along with this, I have constants. So, what is constant? As the name itself indicates that the values are fixed. In the sense what? We are not able to change the value. So, during the execution of the program, we are not able to change the value. Okay, these are the some of the examples for token. So, dear student, while studying token, please concentrate more about variables, how to define the variables with example, and how to create the variables, and what are the rule I need to follow while defining the variable. At the same time, please concentrate more about identifier. Rules are followed while defining the identifier. So, these are the 5 important questions from Unit 1. Okay, fine. If I consider Unit 2, I have first question. So, this is the most expected question, that is, what is control statement? Explain if statement with example. So, what is control statement? So, control statements are called decision making statement. Okay. So, based on the control statement, the flow of the execution is decided. If we don't have decision making statement, then it is a sequential flow of program or sequential execution of program. If I use decision making statement in my program, then it's going to change the flow, that is execution flow of the program. And if I consider decision making statement, I have simple if else if, nested if, and so on. And according to this question, you have to focus more about if else if statement. So dear student, first write this syntax. Then write the example. Okay, if, write the condition. If this condition is true, I'm going to have statement. Okay, fine. If this condition is false, else. I have if once again condition. If statement is true, I have statement, else. I'm going to have next statement. Okay, so it is if, else, if. Now, if I consider second very important question, that is, what is looping? Explain the difference between while loop and do while loop. So, what is looping? Looping is nothing but the repetition of statement. There are certain time I just want to repeat the same code or same statement again and again. In that time, I am going to use looping. And if I consider looping, I have three kinds of looping. Do, while loop and for loop. And according to this question, I want to write the difference between while and do while. So dear student, if I consider while, where I am going to write the while keyword at the beginning, I am going to have the condition, okay, and I am going to have statement. If I consider do, statements, well, then at the end I am going to check the condition. And put the semicolon. See here, you just want to remember only two syntax. Okay, how to write while and how to write do while. See, where I am going to check the condition at the beginning only. So it is called entry testing. Okay, it is entry point. And if I consider do while, where I am going to check at the end. So it is called exit. It's called exit. Okay, and see here, if I consider while, if the condition is true, then only I can able to enter into the block. See, if the condition is true, enter into the block. For example, if I have the hall ticket, I can able to enter into the examination hall. Now, if I consider do while, see here, first I am going to enter into the examination hall. I start writing the exam, and middle, if the squad comes, okay, if the squad comes, they are going to ask me the ID card or hall ticket. Okay, so see here, I am going to write the exam, but middle I am going to check the condition. Over. See here, if the condition is false, see here, if the condition is false, I am not able to execute any statement. But if I consider do while, even though the condition is false, but still I can able to execute the code one time. So these are the difference between while and do while. At the same time, please write the example for while as well as do while statement. Okay, fine. Then I am going to have what is an array, explain the type of array with example. So what is an array? Array is nothing but a collection of homogeneous element. So what is homogeneous element? Think that I have one basket. Okay. In that basket, I can able to store only same kind of value. Okay, only I can able to store same kind of value. Okay, fine. For example, I have number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, I have the basket. In that, I am going to store only same kind of value. And this is known as array. So, it's a collection of homogeneous element. And if I consider type of array, there are two type of array according to your syllabus. Okay, that is one-dimensional array and two-dimensional array. So, what is one-dimensional array? So I'm going to have only one subscript. For example, if I write int a of 5. How many subscript? One index. Okay, so here int is nothing but the data type, where a is nothing but the name of the array and 5 is nothing but the size of the array. Okay, fine. If I consider two-dimensional array, for example, int a of 5 and b and 5. See here, to access element I require two index. One is my row and another one is my column. Over. So to access array element I require two index, and this kind of array is known as two-dimensional or multi-dimensional array. So dear student, according to the question, write the answer. Okay, so start with what is an array. Okay, then write there are two type of array. Tell what is single dimensional array, then write the syntax, then write the example. And for the second one, that is two-dimensional array, define what is two-dimensional array, write the example, and syntax. Okay, fine. Another very important question from unit 2 is, what is string? Explain string handling function in detail. So dear student, C supports some built-in string function. Okay, fine. Now what is string? String is nothing but the collection of or group of character. For example, think that, okay, if I consider my name, okay, how many characters I have? I have 7 characters. So it is a collection of character. It's example for string. And if I consider built-in function, I have string len, string copy, string concatenate, string reverse, okay, string copy. Even I have many more built-in function. But, okay, what is the question? Explain string handling function. So, it is very easy to remember strlen. It returns the length of the string. And if I want to compare two strings that is equal, same, okay, then I'll go with the string compare. Okay, if I want to club or join two strings together, then string concatenate. Then what about string reverse? If I want to reverse the string, then I'll use string reverse. And if I consider string copy, I want to copy source string to destination string, then I'll go with the string copy. So dear student, while explaining this concept, first write this syntax. Okay, first tell what is strlen, then write the syntax, then write the example. So here if I consider strlen, function name is strlen and it's going to accept string as parameter. Now write the example. This is syntax. Example, strlen of s1. For each string handling function, you have to define what a string handling function. Along with that, write the syntax and write the example. So another very important unit here is unit 3. Okay, fine. In that first question, what is function? Explain the components of the function. So what is function? Functions are nothing but the set of statement or group of statement. Functions are nothing but the set of statement or group of statement used to perform some specific task. For example, if I want to add two number, okay, for that, if I write the code, okay, then it is called function. For that, I'm going to write the code and I'm going to give the name. So it is called function. And what are the components of function? That is function prototype, function call, and function definition. Well, function definition. What is function prototype? Function prototype. So what is function prototype? So I'm going to inform the compiler that this is my function name and these are my return type and these are my parameters. For example, int add, int A, int B. Over. And where I'm going to write this one? Above the main function. I'm going to write above the main function. Why I want to write above the main function? In the sense, I want to inform the compiler that this is my function and I'm going to use this function in my program. Okay, fine. Then I'm going to have function call. So where I'm going to write the function call? In my main function. Add, okay, A, comma, B. So I'm going to call the function. I'm going to call the function. See here, my function name, my function return type as well as parameter must be same. Over. So here add is my function name. Here also add. How many parameters? 2. And this function returns some value. Say it is int C. Where I'm going to write the body of the function? In my function definition. Okay, see here. If I write return A plus B, so this is nothing but the body of the function. So this is whole thing together called function definition. That time no need to write this semicolon. Your function definition includes function prototype as well as body of the function. Okay, fine. The another question here is explain the structure of the function with example. So I want to write the structure of the function. So we know what is function. Then I want to write the structure of the function. So here first I have return type. Okay, fine. Along with that function name. Over. Then parameters and body of the function. Okay, fine. So return type is what? What kind of value I'm going to return. If this function returns the value, then you have to specify the type of the data type. Else it returns void. Then name of the function. Then parameters. Okay. So these are the formal parameters. And where I'm going to use actual parameters? In my function call, I'm going to use actual parameters. And in my function definition, okay, in that header, I'm going to use formal parameters. And I'm going to have the body. And if I define the variable inside the function, then it is called local variable. So these are the structure of function or user defined function. The another very important question under unit 3 is what is pointer? Explain the advantages and disadvantages of pointer. So what is pointer? Pointers are the variables. It holds the address of another variable. Along with that, you have to write the advantage and disadvantage. So, if this question for 5 marks, definition carries 1 mark, advantage carries 2 marks and disadvantage carries 2 marks. So, what are the advantage? It improves the execution speed. We can directly access to the address. Okay, fine. Then we can able to pass multiple arguments to the function by using pointer. Using pointer, I can able to pass the values from calling function to called function or called function to calling function. Then what is the disadvantage? Wastage of memory. For example, we have to deallocate the memory. There are certain time we are going to define the pointer, but we are not going to use the pointer. Then it leads to wastage of memory and it leads to some problem. The another very important question from unit 3 is what a structure. Explain how to create and access a structure with example. So what is structure? Structures are nothing but the collection of heterogeneous element. For example, think that I'm going to have the basket. In that basket, I'm going to store all the different kinds of value. Okay, for example, A 5, 10.5, A, B, C. And I'm going to store all these things in a single container. Okay, and I'm going to give the name for that container. And it is known as structure. And how to create structure? So, I'm going to use the keyword struct student. Okay, fine. Then, inside this, I'm going to create the variable int A. Then, char name of 20. Okay, then, okay, here only I can able to create the structure variable, or inside the main program, I can able to create the structure variable. If I am going to create the structure variable inside the main function, then I must start with the keyword struct student, then stud. Over. Now, how I am going to access the member of the structure with the help of structure variable, with the help of stud, and I am going to use the dot operator A. Stud dot name. Okay, fine. So, dear student, this question is most expected question. So, dear student, study the lab program which is related to the structure. Okay, you can expect either this question or lab program. The last question here is what is union? And explain how to create and access union with example. So, unions are also example for user-defined data type. Okay, then what is the difference between structure and union? In structure, while allocating memory, we are going to consider the memory allocated to all the variables. But in union, we are going to consider the memory which holds large memory. Okay, we are going to consider the memory of the variable which holds large memory. For example, if I consider union stud, okay, int roll number and char name of 20. Then what's the memory allocation? Okay, if I consider structure, in structure 20 plus 2. So, structure holds 22 byte of memory. But in union, Okay, we are going to consider highest memory allocation, that is character 20 byte. So, okay, now compiler allocates only 20 bytes for this student. Now, what is the disadvantage here? I can able to access only one variable at a time. If I consider structure, I can able to access all the variables at a time. But here, I can able to access one variable at a time. So, what I want to do to access the member, I must create the variable. So, I'll create union 1. Okay. So, what is my variable name? Union 1. Now, with the help of union 1, dot roll number. Well, I'm going to assign the value. So here I can able to access only one field at a time. So that is the disadvantage of union. Over, I can able to access only one member at a time. So dear student, in my today's session, I started with very important questions from each 3 unit. So how many questions? I told you to study only 14 questions, and one who want to clear the subject, please concentrate more about these 14 questions, so that you can able to clear the C programming theory paper. Anyway, dear student, thank you for supporting me and thank you for encouraging me, and all the best for your exams.